So we talked about flowing. It almost seems like the way to flow best is to stop thinking about the future and things that aren't in control. Do you think caring too much about the future is holding us back?
Oh, definitely. I see so many people obsessed with a future that has no guarantees. You're never guaranteed tomorrow, but you're always guaranteed right now. The best things happen in the present moment. People get so focused on the future that they stop living in the present. It's not that thinking about the future is bad. It's good in moderation. You look ahead, set an intention, and then let life bring you the opportunities in the present moment to reach that future.
That makes a lot of sense. People use the future as an escape, either worrying about what could go wrong or daydreaming about what could go right. But in doing that, they miss what's actually happening right now. And I like what you said about moderation, because thinking about the future isn't bad, but it becomes a problem when it pulls you out of the present completely. Do you think people get stuck in this mindset because of fear? Like, are they afraid that if they don't constantly think about the future, things won't work out?
Exactly. People are so scared of the unknown that they create a future in their minds that they believe they have to achieve. It gives them a false sense of control. To some degree, that control is real, but it's never guaranteed.
Yeah, that makes sense. People build these mental safety nets, convincing themselves that if they plan enough, work hard enough, or predict every possible outcome, they can guarantee a certain future. But in reality, life doesn't work that way. And when things don't go according to that imagined plan, it can feel like a personal failure, even though the future was never really in their control to begin with. Do you think that's why so many people struggle with disappointment, because they were too attached to a future that was never promised?
Oh, definitely. There's nothing wrong with having a vision for the future. We're here to experience life, so if you have a future in mind, you might as well try your best to get there. The biggest issue with being too attached is that it pulls you out of the present. People see the future as a means to an end, but life has never been about just reaching the end goal. It's about the journey along the way. Most people don't realize that, so they get stuck chasing a future moment. And when they finally get there, they feel accomplished for a second. But then, what's next? If you're always chasing goals, you never actually appreciate the present.
That's such a big realization. If you're always chasing a future goal, the present moment will never feel like enough. That's what keeps people in an endless cycle. They finally reach the future they obsessed over, and instead of feeling satisfied, they immediately start looking for the next thing. It makes me wonder, do you think this is just human nature? Are we wired to always look ahead? Or is it something society has drilled into us, making us feel like we have to keep moving forward instead of just being?
It's a bit of both. Life is about evolving, so we're naturally inclined to look for the next step. The problem is that society makes it feel like there's a deadline. Society tells you, once you get here, then you'll be happy. Once you achieve this, then you'll be fulfilled. But real fulfillment doesn't come from the goal itself. It comes from learning to enjoy the process of getting there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Evolution is natural, but society has turned it into a checklist. Hit this milestone, then this one, then this one. And if you don't, you feel like you're falling behind. But when you step back, there is no real deadline. There's no final destination where life suddenly becomes perfect. It's always just right now. So if someone's caught in that mindset, always chasing, always feeling like they're behind, what's the best way to start shifting toward appreciating the present more?
That's tricky. Some people just won't get it until life forces them to, but if you have the ability to take a step back, even for a moment, I can't stress how valuable that is. Forget the plan, forget the future, forget what people expect of you. Just step back and look at your life from a third-person perspective. The first question to ask yourself is this future that I'm aiming for what I actually want? Why do I want it? Then ask, what can I do to enjoy the journey a little bit more?
That's such a powerful way to reframe it. Most people never stop to ask why they even want the future they're chasing. They just assume that because they're moving towards something, it must be the right thing. Taking that step back forces you to question whether you're climbing a ladder you actually want to be on. And that second question, what can I do to enjoy the journey more, shifts the focus from waiting to be happy in the future to finding joy in the present. So let's say someone realizes they're too caught up in chasing the future. What's one small thing they can do today to start breaking that cycle?
Learning to be present. Meditation helped me. At first, meditation is just this thing you do for an hour and then you go back to your life, but over time, it becomes the way you live. Life itself becomes a meditation. The idea isn't to detach from life completely, but to observe your thoughts and emotions like an outsider. Understand that your thoughts aren't you, they're just passing clouds. Some are white and fluffy, some are dark and stormy, but you don't have to let them dictate how you feel.
That's such a deep shift in perspective, realizing that thoughts are just weather passing through your mind. And when you can observe them without reacting, suddenly, the future doesn't seem so overwhelming anymore. It sounds like this ability to step back has changed everything for you. Do you think this is the next step in human evolution? People learning how to truly live in the present?
It seems like it. More people are looking inward and realizing their own truths, but some people will stay stuck until they get a massive wake-up call. I think we will get there, but it's going to take a long time.